planet Earth. Our home. Our only home. I can remember the first time I ever thought about leaving our beautiful planet. It was in my 7th grade science class. The teacher had said, "One day, and maybe sooner than later, we will no longer have enough gas and oil on our planet to use as a resource." I'll never forget the feeling it left me with. This was the day I found out that Earth's resources are precious and limited. That, if we didn't change how we see our planet, we would continue to drain it of these precious resources. For years, scientists gave warning that not only were we running out of these precious fuels, but that the emissions from these fossil fuels were the direct cause of climate change and global warming. I began to wonder how much time we had left. Then, in 2016, our greatest fears were realized. British Petroleum released their statistical review of world energy. In their review, they found that in the next 50 to 100 years, our research shows that we will no longer have enough gas and oil on this planet to use as a resource. Can you imagine that day? Wars for the last of Earth's resources. Mass starvation all over the world. This would be our future if we continued to ignore the facts. Science has proven that the burning of fossil fuels is the direct cause of global warming and climate change. We know now that the emissions from these fossil fuels have adverse effects on our health, and these effects will continue to get worse. So what will we do for energy when we're all out of fossil fuels? Is there no hope for mankind, but for famine and for war? We have an answer to our world energy crisis, a solution that provides cheaper, more longer-lasting energy while causing less harm to our environment. A way for us to change, a way for us to survive. Renewable energy.
Okay, so that may raise more questions than answer. Is there really an energy solution that's cheaper, more efficient, that causes less harm to our environment? Well, let's take a look at a side-by-side comparison between fossil fuels and renewable energy to see if that's the case. Starting with cost. The cost right now to produce fossil fuels ranges at any time from 5 cents to 17 cents per kilowatt hour. What is the problem with this cost? The cost for fossil fuels is volatile and is changing based on a number of different situations. The prices can change because of transportation cost increases. They can change due to areas becoming dry and no longer filled with oil. The prices can even change due to politics and war, as was just recently seen with the events regarding the Iran deal and the United States. When looking at renewable energy, we see that the cost to produce renewable energy is actually much cheaper to produce than fossil fuels. Right now, that cost ranges from 6 cents to 10 cents per kilowatt hour. This is using both wind and solar energy sources respectively. Now, why is it cheaper? First, the energy produced from renewable energy sources is achieved there at the source. We don't have to go digging around or hauling a bunch of machinery back and forth to get the job done. This eliminates two major costs with producing energy today. The first would be the mining cost, and the second being the transportation cost. A huge point to remember is that because of the rapid advancement in technology, the cost of producing renewable energy is constantly going down. So now that we've looked at the cost of producing renewable energy versus the cost of fossil fuels, let's take a look and see how efficient they are in doing so. After looking at the research regarding efficiency in producing energy, to put it plainly, renewable energy is more efficient in producing energy than fossil fuels. Now, why is that so? Well, because once fossil fuels are obtained, they lose energy due to heat dispersion. In the United Kingdom, a study shows that over 54% of gas energy is lost in this heat dissipation. Not to mention that this source is not indefinite. Renewable energy does not have this problem. Not only does it produce more energy for every dollar spent when compared to fossil fuels, it loses less than 1% of energy created.
Finally, and what I consider to be the most important part of making the switch to renewable energy, is its effect on our planet. Renewable energy is cleaner than fossil fuels and less environmentally damaging. We can prove that the burning of fossil fuels is the root cause of climate change and global warming. These have devastating effects on our planet and environment. Some of these changes cannot be reversed, like animal extinction and coral elimination. The emissions from these fossil fuels have adverse effects on our health. We see increased asthma in young ones, where the smog is the greatest. These effects are only continuing to get worse due to the amount of energy needed to meet demands. Oil spills are happening often, causing even more environmental damage. What is worse than that is that oil spills happen in both the ocean and on land, and in some cases the damage is already irreversible. Project Drawdown, a coalition of scientists and researchers from all over the world, have put together what they believe is the most comprehensive plan ever proposed to reverse global warming, with renewable energy at the forefront, specifically targeting the production of solar energy sources and wind energy sources. They show that an increase in onshore wind energy production from 3.5% to around 21.6% can remove up to 84.6 gigatons of CO2 from our atmosphere, all by 2050. Additionally, Project Drawdown found that if we can grow from about 0.4% usage of solar energy to around 10%, we could remove an additional 36.9 gigatons of CO2 from Earth's atmosphere. Combined with wind energy, this would remove a total of 109 gigatons of CO2. Did I mention that this would save around $12 trillion of operational costs by 2050? On Monday, October 15th, 2018, unless you didn't turn on the TV, you live under a rock, or didn't go online, you probably woke up and saw that every major news organization published an article titled something like, "Final Attempt to Save Mankind from Climate Change. The End is Near," or 12 years to get our act together. What caused the surge of these news outlet freakouts? The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change issued an alarming report about the impact of global warming and how little time we have left to act. Through their extensive research, they concluded that in as little as 12 short years, the Earth's livability will be completely different. In the report, they explained that the goal was originally set on keeping the Earth's temperature rising above 1.5 degrees centigrade. The IPCC has now issued that we are completely off track, stating that rapid, far-reaching, and unprecedented changes in all aspects of society will happen. What does this mean for us? This means that we are failing to keep the Earth's temperature under control because of our inaction and our lack of research into other energy sources. The IPCC is clear on its findings. Climate change is a real threat that is now on our doorstep, knocking and awaiting a response. Renewable energy is the answer to our energy crisis. It provides a cheaper, more efficient energy source that is less harmful to our environment. Years of research and data show us that we are no longer looking for just an energy source. We are now looking for an energy source that will allow us to survive on this planet for as long as possible. Science tells us that if we intend to inhabit this planet for very much longer, we need to make a change to a better, cleaner solution that provides more energy to meet our demands. The evidence is clear. We are the cause of the Earth's drastic climate change. We know now that fossil fuels are no longer a viable option, as they are finite and cause too much harm to our planet. For these reasons, we need to make a shift to renewable energy sources. This will help meet the world's energy demands in a cost-effective way, while leaving a place for the future generations to call home.